part of humor is the culmination of great philosophy. I've been developing for one more 30 years. At its core, the power of one more is about your willingness to do one more rep, make one more phone call, get up 1 hour earlier, build one more relationship, or do one more thing for whatever you or situation calls for. You can find yourself best life by doing one more than the world expects from you. I wrote The Power of One More to transform your life by adopting strategies I've successfully used the time and time again. By living a one more life, you can completely change your relationships, finances, emotions, the way you do business, your outlook on life, and more. You are not born to be average or ordinary. You are born to do something great with your life. I know this is about you. The power of one more is a dynamic contract between us. It's an important exchange of ideas and knowledge. Depending on who you are, what I'm about to teach you will impact each one of you differently. By changing how you think and act, you will find the answer in those areas of your life that matter most to you. The beauty of all this is that most times the answers are relatively simple, but for whatever reasons you may not have been able to see them or resolve them on your own. Figuring out where to begin can feel daunting. Most people are under the impression there are 1,000 different things they must do to change their lives. Nothing could be further from the truth. I've learned, and you too, that one more thing is often all it takes. And frequently, it's only one more step away from where you are now. Begin with the one more. You are a lot closer to changing your life than you think. You are at one more meeting, one more relationship, one more decision, one more action, or one more thought from leading the life you deserve. The power of one more challenges you to become hyper-focused and addicted to searching for the one mores in your life. The more you begin to see them and then ask it to action to realize them, the more your life will change. The individual thoughts and actions you take don't need to be profound. However, when you compound these small thoughts and actions and stack them up on top of each other, the resulting changes over time are profound. I'll teach you to keep promises to yourself, creating an internal belief system that you're destined for a better life than what you have now. When you implement one more strategies, you live by a set of principles above and beyond those of most other people. This is not just on how to succeed in business or how to succeed in your relationship book, although for some it will be. For most of you, this book will have several applications. That's why you should think of this as a how to succeed in your life book. Your challenge is to take these strategies and apply them to the areas of your life that matters to you. There ain't no wasted words on these pages, but some parts of this book will connect with you more than others. Certain principles will change your ways of thinking, beliefs, and values, and several will land on you like a ton of bricks and change your life forever. I purposely designed these strategies to be universal as well. You are going to read about principles that apply to all people in every area of life. You can take lessons from each chapter, whether you're a world-class athlete, a CEO, a rapidly rising star in the business world, a partner, or still in college. Some of you will use this book to transform your life completely. Others will focus on insights to enhance specific part of your life that are lacking or troublesome. I am confident the Power of One More will resonate with you because in many ways, I'm just like you. I'm not the person now that I was when I first started on my own transformational journey. Like you, I struggled at times. I get what it's like to worry about money, relationships, and my purpose in life. I know what it's like to lack confidence, fall into a slump, and wonder if I ever feel happy. I've been beyond the poor to the point I couldn't even pay the water bill in an apartment where my life and I once lived. And over the years, I battled doubt, frustration, and fear and anxiety. I have lived a wood not having the answers. Even worse, I've also been in places where I didn't know what path to take to find the answers I so desperately sought. For those of you who have lived in a stressful or dysfunctional family, I also know what that's like. Later in this book, I'm going to tell you about the personal challenges I faced being raised by an alcoholic father who was an author in Europe and how that impacted my self-esteem. In fact, one of the reasons I become so proficient at learning how to grow is because I had such a far place from which to come. The truth is, I need to learn how to grow so I could simply function to reach a baseline. The good coming from all of this is that it reinforced my belief people can dramatically change their lives. I saw at first and from watching how much my father changed over the years. I also wrote The Power of One More because after years and years of struggling and the try and error, I learned what it takes to succeed in life. I paid the price, but I now know what many of the answers are and what it takes to win. Along the way, I've also watched good friends and business associates chase what they think is the fun of expensive winning. Sadly, they become distracted and they lose sight of just how good winning feels. Then they spend a lot more time and energy trying to get to a place they could have been already. When I first started out, I often set fun aside in favor of winning. The ironic thing is, it didn't take long before I figured out that winning is fun. In fact, one of the quotes I'm best known for is, winning is more fun than fun is fun. When you're finished reading this book, hopefully you would think so too. I've been living in these principles for 30 years, applying what I've learned to design my best life. My goal for the Power of More is to help you identify your talents, gifts, and abilities, then maximize them from your own greater good and for the people around you. Many self-improvement and performance books that I've read say the same thing over and over. I don't know about you, but I lose interest in it after a couple of chapters. I purposely set out to make the parable more different in that respect. The strategies and philosophies that I'm going to share with you are unique unto themselves. The parable more teaches you to combine your gifts with the directed, intentional thoughts and focused actions. That gives you the resources you need to produce the standards, goals, and outcomes you deserve. Even one of the principles I share in these pages has worked for me beyond my wildest dreams. I'm also humbled and aware that I've been gifted with a certain amount of luck and God's blessings. You have your own version of these same gifts as well, but like me, you also need to put in the work and keep an open mind when it comes to making changes in your life. In many cases, those changes won't be easy at first. In fact, the more work they go, and the more changes you go through to reach it, the more resistance you will encounter. Expect that. Plan for it. When you put yourself in the right frame of mind and you're mentally tough, you will succeed in one more often than you otherwise would. The part one more is a product of years upon years in how I lived, grown, and changed my life to produce wealth and happiness and the meaningful relationships with the people I care about deeply. I want to share the lesson I've learned with you so that you can lead your best life too. Approach the part one more like a key that will unlock your minds, and you'll be surprised how one more thought and one more action will change your life forever. Remember, we are a lot alike, you and me. If I can do it, you can too. One more identity. They always say time changes things, but you actually have to change them yourself. In many ways, reshaping your identities the most fundamental concept of what it means to be one more thinker and doer. Your identity is powerful and influential driver that governs outcomes in all parts of your life. Identity defines the limits of your success, finances, and achievements. It controls the quality of your emotions, relationships, and self-worth. What exactly is identity? I defined it as the thoughts and concepts and beliefs we hold as the most original parts of our inner being. You can put on the face or act a certain way for the rest of the world, but you can't lie to yourself when it comes to these things. Deep inside, you know what's true about you. Put another way, identity is this. What we perceive about ourselves is what we believe about ourselves. Here is then a paradox about identity. Many people know they could improve their life significantly if they changed their identity. However, many people aren't willing to take the necessary steps even when it's in their own best interest. Are you willing to sacrifice who you are for who you could be? The answer about it resounding yes. That's a logical conclusion and sounds obvious, but it's a mystery. Why lots of people struggle with this fundamental question? We weren't put on this earth to be a bump on a log or a lump of coal in the ground. Your mission is to keep growing, expanding, and learning to lead your full and a happy life. When you do these things, your identity will change. Identity is so important because it unlocks so many other amazing things in your life. When you create a one more identity, you give yourself the gift of taking control by dictating internal messages instead of being governed by external forces that have been undermining your happiness, possibly since the day we were born. Your identity is shaped early in childhood. As a child, you are a blank canvas. You are impressionable, happy, and accepting. You had no reason to believe the external world would out to hurt you in any way. Gradually, you learn to function in the world based on what you are taught by your parents, family members, and friends, teachers, and others with whom you came in contact. Of course, many people were well intentioned. However, that doesn't mean what they taught you was always right. The fact is, nobody's ever always right. As a child, you accepted much of what you were taught, right or wrong. Your identity became the good and the bad parts of how other people influenced you. The unfortunate thing is that you are defenseless. Your critical thinking skills did not exist to give you the tools you need to survive in the world. As you grew older, you began to conform your identity. If someone said you weren't a good student or a large athlete, that became a part of your identity. You still didn't have the capacity to disable what you were being told. You grew into the adulthood and you carried with you these beliefs about yourself. Your identity hadn't taken root. Your limitations became a part of you, and because they were so ingrained, you weren't even sure where they came from. That's a lot of baggage to lug around, isn't it? By the time you're old enough and able to question your identity, you were living with the identity you had adopted at the time when you didn't have a choice. Of course, this assumes you're even aware of how your identity impacts you. Many people simply go through life screwed up and unsuccessful and never quite knowing why. However, as a normal thinker, you are now aware and you can change your identity once you become intentional about it. That's how. Adjusting your identity thermostat. I've touched briefly on your identity thermostat in the past, but now I want to give you more details on how this concept can work on your belief. Okay, my eyes hurt. Okay, I can